Hello and welcome to San Lando's Sound Waves. I'm Leslie McKean and this is week 4, day 20. Today our reading is from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. The Word became flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John testified concerning him. He cried out, saying, "This is the one I spoke about when I said, 'He who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me.' Out of his fullness we all have received grace, in place of grace already given. For the law was given through Moses. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but the one and only Son, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with the Father, has made him known." Now let's consider our 7 arrows or 7 questions. What does this passage say? What did this passage mean to its original audience? What does this passage tell us about God? What does it tell us about humanity? What does this passage demand of me? How does this passage change the way I relate to people? And what does this passage prompt me to pray to God? Now let's look at the brief devotional about this passage, which will be found on page 34 of our book. John begins his gospel a bit differently than Matthew, Mark, and Luke. He introduces Jesus as the Word of God, who was at work in the beginning. Not only was the Word present at the dawn of creation, but this Word was God. Centuries later, the Word of God did something amazing. He put on flesh and came to this earth as a man, Jesus Christ. This is not to say that Jesus was some sort of mythical creature who disguised himself as a person. Though his birth was unique, Jesus was fully human, and he was also fully God. He invaded a dark and broken world with the light of the glory of God, the very same God who spoke all things into being and willingly humbled himself to come to earth, knowing that he would face a brutal end because of his love for men and women, the men and women he created. God did not stand back and watch as people rebelled from his goodness. Rather, he pursued wayward sinners with love by coming to them himself. This mission was necessary because of the horrible choices Adam and Eve made in the next chapter of God's story. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great weekend. We hope you will tune in again on Monday.